こんにちは。今回のビデオでは日本語について話したいと思います。Today, I would like to share with you some information relating to Japanese that will hopefully be interesting and useful in your studies. Japan has been described as a society where the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Compared to the US, Japan is a much more collectivist society. This is reflected in the politics of each country. In the US, there are lower taxes and less social benefits, while in Japan, there are higher taxes and more social benefits, such as socialized healthcare and public transportation. This is also reflected in the concepts of honne and tatemae. Honne refers to the inner thoughts of a person, while tatemae is what they actually express. This is an essential concept in Japanese society, as the collectivism of the society makes it necessary to use each one effectively. For example, in a company, many subordinates will, on the outside, agree with what a superior proposes. This is because, if they speak against them, it may be seen as rude and can create conflict in the company, hurting the collective. One way subordinates can let their honne, or inner thoughts, be heard is through bars, or izakaya. Many times after work, employees will go to a bar or izakaya to grab a drink or food. This is much more casual and a relaxed situation that allows employees to let their honne out without being judged and resolve conflicts before it comes time to work. Although I only mentioned one way honne and tatemae are used, these concepts are used in all aspects of Japanese society to different degrees, and therefore are very important for speaking Japanese effectively. They also bring rise to many of the phenomena outsiders might experience about Japanese society, such as directness. Japanese people may not be seen as direct with their opinions, as they do not want to create instability in the collective. I suggest, when you listen or watch Japanese content, try to see how the concepts of honne, one's inner thoughts, and tatemae, what they actually expressed, are used. This will allow you to get a feel for how these concepts actually work together, and you can use them for yourself. The second concept I would like to talk about is the importance of context in the Japanese language. You might have heard before that Japanese is a very context-based language. In everyday Japanese conversation, context is very important. From speaking style to the words said and ones omitted, context is essential to understanding Japanese conversations. A very frequent example of this is politeness in the Japanese language. Although politeness in Japanese may have been described to you as something that hinges on one or two variables, such as position or friendliness, it is something that is influenced by many variables, such as formality, familiarity, social position, and effective distance. Different factors, such as the formality of the situation, differences in social position, distance between the speakers, both literally and emotionally, and familiarity can greatly influence formality. It may seem like a very daunting task to understand how to use formality with all these interconnecting variables. But one thing you should keep in mind is that you've been in complex social situations in real life and have probably, to a lesser extent, changed your speaking style in accordance with many of these variables. I suggest that you listen into the politeness used in different situations and make note of the context when listening or watching Japanese media. This will give you an understanding of how politeness works and how to use it. Another example of how context influences the Japanese language is in the omission of words. In many exercises in textbooks, the sentences contain everything you need to understand them fully. For example, 私は花が好きです. In real life, though, many of these words are omitted due to a mutual understanding of the context. One can say, 花が好きです, and it can be understood as I like flowers, since it has been established in the conversation that they are talking about themselves. Again, I suggest watching or listening to as much Japanese as possible to understand what they omit in different situations. Today, I talked about two aspects of the Japanese language that I feel to be very important for anyone studying it: honne and tatemae, and context. These two are very common in the Japanese language and change the way sentences or entire thoughts are expressed drastically. If you'd like to learn more or have any questions, I have left some resources in the description. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your Japanese studies.